People are saying that Jimin and JK are going to move in together after the military, and then we have people saying that Jimin and JK have been posted by Dispatch, and those clips have kind of been going viral. There is a listening party video with Jimin and JK that has gone viral, and people have a lot to say about this. So Dumplings, it's safe to say, let's get into it. Recently, there's been a lot of photos that have come out of both JK and Jimin, as well as a lot of videos that have gone viral. And I think a lot of people have been just missing the boys so much that they are really just more so freaking out about some of the old content that has existed out there. It seems like every single day when I go on Twitter or any social media site, Jimin and JK are trending, and they're trending together. And it's interesting to see because it comes from this place where people are just like posting old clips, and people are bringing up old clips. I see it every day, literally. There was a video where it basically was saying that it seemed transparent or obvious that Jimin and JK have some sort of special relationship with each other. And a lot of those clips are referencing moments in which Dispatch has recorded the two together, or just like walking together at the airport, and people have used that as an example to say that they're together. Other things are just them mentioning each other on each other's live streams, or them just hanging out with each other and it being caught on camera. Moments like this are very interesting to me, and I can't doubt that they are special, right? When we see moments like this and we see people interacting like this with each other, we of course have to feel like there is a special bond there. Do I necessarily believe that bond is anything more than platonic? Probably not, and I don't know if a lot of people who make these connections where they say, oh, so-and-so are dated because of this, and the rumor are just based on them looking at each other or chatting with each other even. So I don't know if I should believe that the people who are saying this new rumor have ever been in a relationship themselves, or should I believe that they've never had a close friend? Because at the end of the day, friendships, if you're really close with each other, can be like Jimin and JK and how they act. It can be a lot like a romantic relationship where you just want to be around that person all the time. This is why even when two straight guys hang out with each other all the time and they're both married to their own wives, their wives would still get jealous of the two guys' relationships. I see it all the time. And this even happens with two girls who happen to be in a straight relationship as well. The significant other tends to get jealous because they're starting to see that their partner is spending a lot of time with their friend and not a lot of time with them. And I say this because even the people who are clearly not dating their friend, people will get jealous and people will get upset because they are just jealous of certain aspects, like spending time with each other, or like them spending time with their friends, or just their relationship in general, right? Like the jokes that they make with each other and that sort of stuff. Some significant others get jealous over the fact that their partner's best friends know more about their partner than they do. Just things like that. And of course, it doesn't really take that long of a time to develop a relationship like this with someone. I mean, you could really be close with someone for a year and then end up having a friendship like this. So I think romantic is interesting because I think a lot of these people perhaps have never been in a romantic relationship themselves, so they have nothing to compare Jimin and JK's relationship to, or they've never had a friendship like that before that is actually really close. Because when I look at some of these moments that people bring up, to me, it just reminds me of my former friendships that I may have with a former best friend. I don't really have a best friend, or not one that I would act like that with now, but I've had best friends like that before, and this is how I would act with them. One of the last things I want to talk about is very interesting. I was very, I don't know, taken back, I guess, by this because it was quite strange. It was a weird rumor. So if you're not aware, JK recently built a mansion. I don't know if we can say that this is alleged because I believe he lived in that mansion and talked about it. But for a while, it was just a rumor, and I think it was on news sites that were just talking about it, and they were saying that they believe that this was his mansion. But now people are coming out to say that when Jimin leaves the military, he and JK are essentially going to live in the mansion together. Now, these theories or thoughts are not backed up by any fact or backed up at all. Mind you, I mean, if it was backed up by even something like a little bit of something, then I could say that, but it's not backed up at all. They're just saying statements. Some people were talking about the fact that it seemed like Jimin wants to say something. He wants to admit something right now, and that he wants to get married now. Him wanting to admit something right now, where does that come from? Because why do you feel like he wants to admit something? And the second thing is, why do you think that that something is to get married? Like, what part of the fact that he hasn't been in the news and hasn't been in the spotlight for a really long time made you think that somehow he wants to be married? And what part of him being in the military right now has also made you feel that way? These people build their own world and their own fantasy, which is fine, but it's very interesting to kind of push this into a video and make this into a whole thing and kind of push it off as if like it's a real belief, but it's not backed up by anything. Like, I can respect some of those videos where they're just kind of talking about a theory and then they back it up even with like, they're dating because they just looked at each other or they made eye contact. Like I can understand that more than I can understand these theories, where it just seems like these people are just making up their own world. People went as far as to say that we might not see them move in together, but they're still together. And obviously that doesn't mean that they're not together, because apparently in Korea it's a very conservative area where most people don't move in together until they get married. Now, this is untrue in 2025. It used to be true, but similarly to how it used to be true in America too. But nowadays, most Korean citizens believe that you should live together before you get married. And I believe that too, because you have to know what it's like to live with someone before you decide to commit to them for the rest of your life. So I do believe that if we do see them living together, then at the very least from that, we can have some sort of speculation or something to build on. But what I'm going to believe is that they're probably not going to live together, and we're not going to see that. I found something really interesting recently, which was a listening party video that went viral before and has gone reviral again now due to some new information. If you're unaware of what I am talking about, back when JK did his album Golden, he had a listening party and he invited a bunch of people. It was very controversial as people saw members of Blackpink there allegedly, and people were also using this as a moment to confirm a dating rumor between Jimin and JK. Jimin and one of the Blackpink members, as well as JK and one of the Blackpink members. Now, some people in the community were alleging that the store owner that had allegedly leaked all these idols coming into the restaurant had leaked this new video after allegedly claiming that they had never leaked the video to begin with. But now people are saying it's clear someone was recording, and it seemed the store had this footage. Now, this all is alleged because we actually have no idea where this video is coming from, even though people are alleging it came from the store owner. Now, it gets interesting as there was more footage that came out of the specific section in which JK was having his listening party. Someone tracked the seating arrangement, which I don't even know how you would do that, but they apparently saw that JK and Jimin were sitting across from each other, and not sitting across from each other like in front of each other, but like sitting diagonally from each other. And then some people were saying that this proves that they were in a relationship together or that they're dating. I'm not sure how people came up with that assumption based on two people sitting diagonally from each other. Like if they were sitting next to each other, that can make a little bit more sense, but of course still doesn't really imply dating, but at least makes more sense. Sitting diagonally from each other definitely doesn't mean anything. People were making some outrageous claims, things like they were kissing or they were doing some stuff, and I don't really know how they came up with that assumption over two people sitting diagonally from each other. Now, is it this idea that Jimin was just there and that means that he was in a relationship with JK? Because of course he would be there. I would be surprised if all the members weren't there. And obviously there probably were some of the members that couldn't show up due to scheduling conflicts or whatever it was. But that's more shocking to me than if people were showing up. Jimin is going to go to support. Of course, he's been the biggest fanboy of all the BTS members and has been their biggest support. People have been wondering when Dispatch is going to announce a BTS relationship. So for many years, many people were hoping that Dispatch would kind of confirm either some of the ships that were rumored or just kind of the relationships that exist with them and other groups, right? So a lot of people were hoping that Dispatch would confirm V and Jennie. However, now that it's believed that they're not together anymore, and that is the general rumor going around, Dispatch probably won't ever talk about this, right? Because this would be old news. However, a lot of people were taking moments and photos in which Dispatch had taken Jimin and JK at the airport and just random moments of both them together, maybe magazine pictures and all of those things, and they're just saying that it seems like Dispatch is pointing towards the direction of one day addressing Jimin and JK's dating rumor. However, I don't believe that Dispatch would ever do that, and if they would do that, they probably would have done it already, and it probably would have just been leaked already. They didn't hold back in the beginning of the year when they announced their dating rumors. They don't normally hold back, and I also personally don't believe that there's only one couple in all of Korea that are dating every year, right? And also apparently idols, and there's only one out of everything, because they only announce one every year, right? That doesn't make sense. There's always dating rumors and relationships and real relationships that are happening. It's just, of course, Dispatch is picking who they want to release that information of. And if they were to release that information about BTS, they know that it would definitely go viral and it would be a huge moment, but why are they not? And they have not talked about this ship, Jimin and JK, which is so popular, right? That tells me that there really is nothing to say, or that they have nothing to say. And if they were actually to release this dating rumor, they could even face a suit with the label, as if they're releasing this as a dating rumor and maybe it isn't true, maybe a huge percent of the audience that might be aware that they're gay, and Korea would not take that lightly, right? You can get banned from TV shows, you can get your whole career taken from you. So the label would definitely not take it lightly if it were to come out and Dispatch were to say that. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. I'll link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.